outline of the class is Introduction to Software Testing. So in the module 4 we now started software testing. So what do you mean by software testing? We see so program testing. So after completing all the software product, then you have to test it whether they are satisfied for customer or not. So that purpose software testing is important. So testing is intended to show that program does and what is intended to do and to discover program defect before it is put into use. Before using the software product, you have to test it and discover the program defect. When you test the software, you execute a program using artificial data. So you have to test that software by giving the data whether it gives correct output or not. So you check the result of the test run for errors, anomalies or information about programs non-functional attributes. After testing it, you have to find out in that software errors, anomalies or information about the program's non-functional attributes. Testing is a part of more general verification and validation process, which also include the static validation techniques. So now the program testing goal. What is the goal of the testing, software testing? So the main goal is to demonstrate to the developers, software developers and customers that the software meets its requirement. The customer can satisfy its requirements or not. So to demonstrate to the developer and customers that the software meets its requirement. For custom software, this means that there should be at least one test for every requirement document. For generic software, it means that there should be test for all the system features plus combination of these features that will incorporate in the software product release. The second goal is to discover the situation in which behavior of the software is incorrect and undesirable or does not conform to its specification. So the main goal is finding the defect. So defect testing is concerned with the rooting out desirable system behavior such as crash, unwanted interaction with other systems, incorrect computations and data corruption. So these are the two goals of the program testing. So the next point is the validation and defect testing. What do you mean by the validation? So you expect the system, whatever you developer can develop the product, so you expect the system, software system to perform correctly using given set of test cases that reflect the system's expected use. The second goal leads to defect testing. So test cases are designed to expose the defect, errors. The test case in the defect testing can deliberately obscure and need not reflect how the system is normally used. So the testing process goals is validation testing and defect testing. So in the validation testing means to demonstrate to the developers and system customers that software meets its requirements. So developers, whatever the developed product, it meets, software meets its customer requirements. A successful test shows that system operates as intended. So defect testing to discover fault or defect in the software where its behavior is incorrect or non-conformance with its specification. A successful test is a test that makes the system perform incorrectly and so expose a defect in the system. So in the given diagram, input-output model of program testing, suppose in the input you have to give the wrong input and output can also generate the wrong output. So input test case data and this is a system, software system and output test result. So input causing anomalies behavior, if input is not correct, so output which reveals the presence of defect, so errors. and verification versus validation. What do you mean by both the word verification and validation? So verification means, are you building the right product right? So whatever the developer can develop that software, so that should be right, or the software should conform its specification. So the developed product must conform to its specifications or not. So you have to check it. That is means of verification. And validation means, are you building the right product? So software should do what the user really requires based on the requirements of the customer. So are you building the right product or not? That is a validation. These are the two words, verification and validation. Are you building the product right and right product? Right product, that is validation. Product right, verifications. So verification and validation confidence. The aim of V and V is establish the confidence that the system is fit for purpose. So the system is used for the customer purpose. So depends on the system purpose, user expectation and marketing environment. So it is fit for purpose. Software purpose, the level of confidence depends on how critical the software is to an organization. In user expectation, user may have low expectation of certain kinds of software. Marketing environment, getting a product to market early may be more important than finding the defects in the program. So the next term is inspection and testing. What do you mean by these two words and difference? So software inspection concerned with the analysis of static system representation. The main purpose is to discover the problems. So finding the problems in that software product is called as a software inspection, and this term is called as a static verification. You have to verify program code, we have to verify, or any mistakes occurs in that programs you have to find out. Software inspection concerned with analysis of the static system representation to discover the problems. So maybe supplement by tool based document and code analysis. And software testing is concerned with exercising and observing the product behavior. After executing that program, it will find out the errors, that is called as a testing. And dynamic verification. So the system is executed with the test data and its operational behavior is observed. Whatever the error is observed with after executing the system, that is called as a system testing. So overall, just you have to analysis of the system representation to discover the problem is called as a inspection. So inspection and testing both are given here. So inspection, and these are the, you have to verify the system specification, you have to analyze the architecture, UML design model, database schemas, programs, and you have to software testing, you have to execute the program and find out the anomalies is called as testing. It's called as a dynamic testing. Dynamic software inspection. This involves the people examining the source code representation with the aim of discovering the anomalies and defect in that codes. And inspection not require execution of the system. This is important. So may be used before implementation, and they may be applied to any representation of the system, requirement, design, configuration data and test data. They have been shown to be an effective techniques for discovering the errors. So what is the advantage of inspection? So during the testing, errors can mask, means hide other errors, and because inspection is a static process, just you have to observing all the codes and architecture, you find out the defect. You don't have to be concerned with interaction between the errors. So incomplete version of the system can be inspected without additional cost. So if program is incomplete, then you have need to develop the specialized test harness to test the parts of that are available, as well as searching for a program defect. And inspection can also consider the broader quality attributes of the program. such as the compliances with the standards, portability and maintainability. Inspection and testing. So inspection and testing are complementary and not opposing verification techniques. So both should be used during the verification. V process means verification and validation process. Inspection can check conformance with the specification but not conformance with the customer real requirements. So inspection cannot check non-conform functional characteristics such as performance, usability, etc. So this is the advantage of the inspection. So this is a disadvantage. Inspections cannot check non-functional characteristics such as performance, usability, etc. So these can be checked by using the testing. So model of the software testing process. These are all the test cases, design test cases, and output of one is input to the next stage, prepare test data, run the program, and finally report the test report. So there are different stages of the testing. One is the development testing, release testing, and user testing. So these are the three types of the testing. So first one is the development testing. What do you mean by development testing? Where the system is tested during the development to discover bugs and defects. So at the time of development of software product, you have to discover the errors and defects in that codes. Release testing, where the separate testing teams test a complete version of the system before it is released to the user. Before release to the user, the developer or it can test all the complete version of the system. So user testing, where the user or potential user of the system test the system in their own environment. So by giving the input, it can check the output. So user can test there based on the inputs, it can check their system. So it is called the user testing. So development testing, release testing, and user testing. So all these PPTs are taken from the textbook from Anne Somerville. Thank you.